Hi guys, welcome to Little Joys, where we celebrate the little joys of life. I'm Jordan.
I'm Jody.
And today we're going to be talking about 5 things you need to consider before you get married. That's going to be interesting. And number 5 will actually be kind of controversial in a way. As a disclaimer, we're not saying we have the perfect marriage. We're not saying that if you do these 5 things, it's a guaranteed success. We fight, we argue. You should see us before we record. So, we're not saying that by any means. Number 1 is becoming friends.
Yeah, you have to be friends. I think a good marriage starts with you guys being friends first, and you enjoy doing things together, and you enjoy talking, because I've seen a lot of people who are married and I'm like, do you even like that person?
Exactly, like they're not compatible. It's like for us, when we met, we had so much in common, it was weird. Like, yeah,
we really started off, I think, as friends, and then one day I remember just being like, is Jordan my boyfriend? And I had to even ask, I was like, are you my boyfriend? He was like, yeah. And I was like, what? He was like, why do you ask that? And I was like, because we have a friendship first. Yep. And we really started off as friends, and then it developed into a relationship. I think it just makes things a lot easier when you're friends.
Yeah, because if you're immediately saying, oh, I'm going to go straight into this for dating, it feels forced sometimes. Yeah. We both had friends in the past where people try to date and we're like, we're better as friends. It puts a little bit of an awkward strain on you in a sense, you know?
Right, so just be friends with your partner. It really helps. See how they act emotionally, and that's good emotion and bad emotion. Jordan has seen me at my most happiest, giddiest side, and he's seen me at my absolute worst, and he's accepted me for that all the way around. And I've seen him at his most happiest to his absolute worst, and it's made us stronger as a couple, and it's just made us stronger friends as well. And the reason I say that is you can see how somebody reacts in a bad situation and be like, I don't even want to be around this person.
Like imagine something bad happening, and then they just start grabbing stuff and just smash you against the wall and screaming at you, and so all you'll be like, no. Right,
like I'm not dealing with that. Or you can even see somebody at their most depressing state and be like, I'm not capable of handling this at this moment. And that doesn't make you a bad person for thinking that, but it's just, if you're going to be in a relationship, a marriage especially, where you're living together and you're sharing bills and all of that, you need to kind of know how they're going to react in that situation, because it does affect you as well. So that's definitely very, very important.
Yep. Number 3 is learning each other's financials. What we mean by that is know how much you make, how much she makes, and together combined, what can you truly afford? Now this goes, people can make $60,000, $100,000 a year together and say, oh, well, we're bringing in, $160,000, $180,000, whatever, $200,000 a year. But you need to understand each other's spending habits as well, too. Because if you have 2 people making $60,000 together, combined making $120,000, but you're both spending $55,000 a year, just with expenses and just shopping, all that jazz, you're going to struggle together.
Also, you need to know what are they willing to spend money on and what you're not willing to spend money on. I love makeup and facial products and stuff like that. I am willing to spend that money, and when Jordan sees me spend that money, he has a slight aneurysm. Yeah. Or a slight heart attack, not aneurysm.
Aneurysm, heart attack, stroke.
He gets a hernia.
Somehow.
And I've had to realize, okay, it bothers him when I spend that money. But then I've seen Jordan go on his little pop fest where he buys all these pop figures. If you don't know what those are, you should look them up. They're real fun. But when he spends all that money, I'm like, ooh, you spend a lot of money on those. You need to be honest on what you like to spend money on, and you need to get on some understanding with that. Also, you need to be honest on what you're willing to spend money on, like rent, like groceries, all of that. and kind of set a budget with each other, and be honest about your finances.
And the thing is too, when it comes to your finances, if you both are used to living a certain way, you need to find a medium between the two, or else you're going to clash horribly. You're going to be like, hey, I want to live in this apartment. No, I want this apartment. Or I like this car. I like this. You need to have a middle ground when it comes to finances, or else what you're going to do, you're both going to start spending your own money, and before you know it's going to come an argument, well, this is my money. It won't be a matter of this is our money.
And it's also learning to budget your bills too. Like, just we're still working on how we budget our bills and stuff like that. It's a work in progress, and I feel like every year another maybe expense will come up, or every 3 months expenses come up. You just need to be able to sit down and talk about those things, and it can be difficult sometimes. So you need to talk about financial stuff.
Exactly, and that's where it kind of bleeds into number 2 a little bit. When you have those unexpected financial situations, or those unexpected bills, or maybe medical stuff, etc. You know, if that person opens that bill and they're like, oh my God, I can't, and they just lose their mind and, you know, they're ready to give up, that might be something else to consider too. What happens if, you know, down the line you have kids, they're sick, and then, you know, the other person just can't handle the fact that there's some kind of type of financial issue now.
Number 4 is understanding people's values and talking about your values before you even get married. You want to talk about, do you want kids? You know, what is your religious background? What do you want to celebrate? Things like that. That can really make or break a relationship, and it's very important to talk about. Jordan comes from a very religious background, and I came from a more spiritual, like almost hippie like family. And they're loudmouth hippies, like really, but that's what it is. And Jordan is from a very religious family. They didn't celebrate any holidays. Do you want to tell what religion you are?
Yeah, I was a Jehovah's Witness. There's no holidays, no birthdays, certain events I had to set out of. And the thing is, as a kid, I'm like, okay, well, they're doing that. Well, it felt a little bit isolated, but then walking into a relationship where Christmas is there, it's like you kind of go like, you know, how do I adjust to this? Now, granted, being with her, I enjoy it. It's family time, etc. Granted, I'm kind of going against what I was brought up in, but that's a whole different other topic. But when you have that different change of, you know, you're going from a non-religious family to a religious family, or vice versa, whatever, or that person believes in something you don't want to have internal conflicts.
Right,
you know?
right.
Not saying you're supposed to be 100% simpatico and agree on everything, but when it comes to, like, kids, let's say I didn't want kids. Like, I was like, oh, heck no, no kids, if she wants kids. That's going to put a strain in eventually in the future, especially when we start getting older and we're both like, well, I don't want kids, you do. And then if, let's say, I cave into her, you know, wanting kids, then I'm going to be miserable, or she caves in not having kids.
Yeah, and then it's that, and then also, since I didn't come from like a very religious family, I celebrate all those holidays. Jordan, I had to like kind of like take a step back. I was like, he didn't ever put up a Christmas tree. He doesn't have that same joy of Christmas or Thanksgiving as I do, and I've had to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, like, instead of me getting mad that he forgot about it, I have to be like, oh, he never celebrated it. And you need to be honest, like, does Jordan want to partake in those things? Would that be a deal breaker for me? And you need to be honest about those things and talk about even politics. I remember when the election was going on, people were getting mad about a lot of things that were being said and unfriending people. Like, you need to know, like, is this going to bother me if this person thinks this way? And so you got to be really honest about that. And if you can't agree on things, then you're not ready to get married.
Exactly. And the thing is, that also goes beyond just opinions. You know, how do you feel about cleaning things? How do you feel about, you know, certain aspects of life? Do you like certain types of people? Let's say you are marrying someone who's carefree, loves everyone, and then the opposite, the other person's like, well, I don't really like these type of people, stuff like that. You know, learn everything you can and take mental note of it.
You just have to be honest about your values and what is a deal breaker for you if that person can't hold that just as close as you do. So just be honest about your values. Number 5, I feel like it's gonna be, like I said, it's a little bit
Well, it's a gray area.
Yeah, it's a gray area because some people that are very religious. They don't feel that you should do this. I feel like number 5 is you should live together. You see how that person is 24/7.
Yes.
When me and Jordan first moved in, the first month was probably our roughest month because I am like very OCD. I like have to have things a certain way, and it's not that Jordan is messy or anything, it's that I have to have certain things a certain way, and when it changes or is not that way, I'm like I can't.
Yeah, because I'm kind of a neat freak myself too, but thing is, we had different variations of neatness. So while she has, you know, a magazine sitting somewhere, that's part of her decoration. I think, oh, she just left that out. I put it up, she's like, where is it? You know, or I would rearrange something or, you know, do a different color scheme with our pillows. And the thing is, it sounds so petty, but it's like you establish a certain way of living, and when that other person, they will feel like they're intruding. You will like things done a certain time. You will like maybe your dishes clean the second they're done, or maybe the other person's like, I'll do it in a minute.
It's the same thing with the bathroom. Our first apartment we lived in was a lot smaller than the apartment that we live in. Now we only had 1 bathroom. In this apartment we have 2 bathrooms. Jordan works like a blue-collar job. He gets very filthy from his job. The tub gets disgusting. I have to clean his tub out like once a week. And when he would use mine, I'd be like, he got this grime all over my tub. And then I have so many different makeup products and facial creams and all that stuff. And Jordan was like, she has stuff everywhere. And so when we found an apartment that had 2 bathrooms, we were like, we need this.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't know we needed this, but we need this.
I made a joke before we left. I said, when we move into this apartment, I'm going to prove that you're the one who's destroying the bathroom. She's like, no, I'm not. You go in my restroom, not much in there. You know, it's neatly organized. Something you go in hers, just make up
5 products.
I don't need like a whole. It's so simple.
I need an eyeshadow palette. So I need a blush.
It's all.
I need my and. You learn those things by living with each other, and you learn like, oh, this person needs this thing this way, and you really learn about each other. You get to know each other better, and I think that it fits in with a lot of other things. You learn about financial things and stuff like that. It really is a test run to marriage, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is too, we're not talking about living together and then, you know, premarital affairs or anything like that. But 1 through 4 blends in because when you live together, you see how bills are. When you go on dates, you show each other the best side of yourself. Mm-hmm. So just like with, you know, understanding each other's emotions, you'll be able to visually see that person 24/7 in terms of how they truly are. You know, you get
to see if they're a grumpy morning person.
Yeah, you get to
how they act when they're tired, how they have their house organized. You get to see, you know, if they're getting a little annoyed or what. You get to see them
everything
in full form, and it really can make and break a relationship. And I feel like traveling doesn't really count in those things, because when I travel and I'm on vacation, I'm a messy person. I'm like, I ain't doing none of this cleaning because I don't have to do this cleaning. But when I'm here at my house, I like it organized a certain way. I have to have things a certain way or it ruins my day. And for Jordan, it was an adjustment period. And so now he'll be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna have Jody organize this way, or I'm gonna put this way because Jordan likes it that way. So you learn how that person lives in their habitat.
Exactly. And the thing is too, just like with number 1, it'll help you see if you can even maintain that friendship as well. Because, I mean, friends can fall out for petty things, same with getting married.
Before I lived with Jordan, I've lived with a friend before. And after I lived with that friend, we were no longer friends once we stopped living together, because I was like, I got to see you in true form. Mm-hmm. And so it really is a test run to marriage, I feel like. And I feel like you should do it. And I know that, like I said, it is kind of like gray area, because Jordan coming from like a religious family, they weren't like, oh, you're gonna move in with this girl, like, I don't know if you should do that. But it really did bring us closer, and it really made us realize like we wanted to be married, and we weren't just going to be roommates passing through the night, or we were just going to get along. And I feel like it's very important.
Oh yeah, extremely. I mean, like I said, we're not trying to encourage any issues with if you are a religious family, things like. We understand that aspect of it, but you don't want to jump into marriage, live with each other, and say, I cannot stand this person.
Because I think a lot of people also too get a lot of, like, they focus on their wedding, which, if I'm not hating on anybody who has a big wedding. Me and Jordan didn't have a big wedding. One day I want to talk about our engagement story and our wedding.
Boy, that's going to be interesting.
It would be a fun, we didn't really have a wedding, but I think a lot of people focus on, oh, I'm going to wear this beautiful dress and I'm going to have this fancy centerpieces and stuff like that, and they don't focus on the true things that marriage is. I'm not saying that's for everyone, but I feel like when people think of marriage, they automatically think of a wedding. And that's not what a marriage is. A marriage is not a wedding. It's you combining two families to make one, and that's what it is at the end goal. And I'm not saying that all of these steps will make a perfect marriage. It just makes you ready for marriage.
Yeah, kind of gives you a little bit of a foundation to build off of.
Right, and we still struggle with some of these too. Like, we were arguing just before we filmed this video, and we made up because I love him.
We want to strangle each other's sleep, but that's the thing. You're two imperfect people coming together as one union.
Right. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. We would love it if you were our subscriber, and if you like this video, it will help us out a big bunch.
What was this dramatic pause?
It will help us out a big bunch.
A big bunch. That makes sense.
And if you're really into it, comment below any of your marriage tips, or if you applied any of these tips to your marriage before you got married. We would love to
find us on Instagram at Little Joys for free shout outs for like family content, and then Little Joys blogs, which is just about us.
Right.
All right.
So you guys have a good day and have a good marriage.
Alright. Ready?
Right.
Hi guys, welcome to Little Joys. We celebrate the little joys of life. I'm Jody.
You're Jody.
I'm so focused on you. Oh god. Let's try that one more time.